Next we have Róbert from Romania.
Hi everyone, I'm Robert Zeitz from Romania, and I will present you briefly the status of the European roller in my country. Do we have rollers in our country? The answer is of course yes. The situation in Romania is a little bit more complicated than in the previous presentations was, just because I have to admit that we have rather a similar situation concerning rollers in Romania like Ukraine has, which is about a split of the population. As you see, we have in the western part of the country a small population, and in the southern part of the country another population. These two populations are fairly different concerning the habitat in which they are surviving, and also we have a different approach towards these two populations. We have different level of knowledge about these two different populations, and as far as we know, they have quite a different habitat selection and quite different possibilities regarding the foraging habitat and breeding habitat. The western population is rather similar than in the Hungarian example. It is actually the western edge of the Carpathian Basin roller population, and the other population is rather similar than the Ukrainian. We have quite a high number of rollers breeding in sandy cliffs, breeding in man-made structures like electric posts, and some of them, of course, on tree hollows. We don't know anything about the population trend of this big population. In the southern part of Romania. We know much more about the western population we do have. The Romanian roller population we think that it's quite stable or near stable. We don't have really good data on the whole country population trend. It's a regular breeding. Data on the last population trend is fairly correct. We don't have any better data which is available now from the last atlas. The main threats on the Romanian rural population, we think that as we have a very big population with the lower level of knowledge we couldn't find any threats which are critical to the whole national population. We only can highlight some high or very high threats, which is the intensification of grassland management, which leads, of course, on loss of food supply, conversion of permanent grassland in other land use. This threat is fairly recent. It is very interesting that in the last 10 years we observed a lot of conversion of these grasslands into mainly arable land. Another high threat on rollers is the loss of solitary trees and hedges with old trees. This is also a very important issue. In the last 2 decades, we can admit that a lot of trees were cut along the roadside all throughout the country, including the western and the southern part of the country, which probably had a very big number of possibilities for rollers to breed in. Medium threat in Romania could be a clearing of riverbank trees and riparian forest. It is medium because as a surface, it's quite a small surface, a riverbank can make in the whole territory from a country. And electrocution, of course, we do have data on birds being electrocuted. And other threats, medium threats are increasing habitat homogeneity. This is comes with the intensification of agriculture, which is a natural, I mean, a general thing in all countries nearby. And of course, insecticides use comes with the intensification of agriculture, as usual. The main threats for rollers in Romania, which are long term, actually, change of medium voltage pylons suitable for rollers could be, in our opinion, in long term a problem for rollers because we have huge territories without trees and with big agricultural fields with quite a high number of rollers in, and they breed in these electric posts made from concrete, and they have the hole in the top, and from a period of, let's say, 50 years, maybe a provider company must replace these pylons, and it could be theoretically a threat in the future if they will change these pylons into pylons which are not suitable anymore. Increasing rate of permanent grassland. This was I was telling before that it is a high threat in Romania, especially in the western part of the country. And we also have a reduced number of nest holes. It is a newly found threat in western Romania, and it's, of course, it's a local threat, but for long-term period it is really crucial. So it is a threat we we deal with. And also another threat, it's with a high level, is the loss of solitary trees and hedges with all trees. This threat is present in the whole breeding territory of roller in Romania, in western, in southern part. Everywhere is a problem that we have a big lack of solitary trees or tree lines, which used to be in the past in the Romanian agricultural lands. Now we have places in southern Romania, and as far as you can see, you cannot see a single tree. And this is a habitat for roller. Rollers are breeding in the electric posts or nowhere else, and that is really a problem. About the changing laws from the last action plan, I can say that we had new SPs, new Natura 2000 sites designated, and the management plan of these sites, it's at the level of a law in the local level, of course, so we can see that there were some small changes in Romania, but not big changes in the legislation. Around 30% of the population is in protected areas. The main goal in Romania regarding the roller population is, of course, to avoid population from decrease, and we have a lot of ideas how could we achieve this goal. It's, of course, by increasing the Western Romanian population, the former level, and to maintain the other peripheral populations, like in the northeastern part of the country, or so on. The percentage of small tree patches is very important in the whole breeding ground of the rollers in Romania, and ensuring the existence of proper agriculture politics. Of course, it's like a general issue for all countries which have to deal with this problem. And of course, we would like to have a realistic picture about the distribution and the size of population, but of course about the breeding success and about the breeding biology of the roller throughout the whole country. That's a goal in the future, of course. And we would like to stop conversion of grasslands in other fields. This is a problem. It's illegal actually, but it's ongoing problem in Romania. Recent conservation activities were creating nest box sites by nests by installing boxes and population monitoring in Romania. New scientific findings were we made a study research on the main hollow-making woodpecker species habitat selection, and we found out that the former overlap of the woodpecker species, the black and the green woodpecker species, it's reduced considerably, so we can say that roller's distribution doesn't overlap anymore with the hollow-making woodpecker species. So this is a real threat in the future, which makes the species conservation dependent, because they will not have any more natural hollows. So we have to maintain the population by providing them boxes. Monitoring. No specific countrywide monitoring exists in Romania. We have a database where we collect our observations, and according to this database we can tell some aspects. But we in the western Romania we develop a monitoring of the roller. Actions from the last action plan. Actually, the management plan which will take place of the newly designated SPRs, it is actually a goal, and several new SPs were also designated, and in the near future the management plan, the making of the management of these SPs will take place. Objectives that should be incorporated in the new action plan. We thought that this slide is about the whole action plan and the whole roller distribution, and not only about our country. So we thought that we should include as a threat in the, which is probably mainly for Bulgaria, Romania and Ukraine, to find out about these medium voltage panels which are suitable for rollers, if they will be replaced or not in the future, and to keep an eye on this problem. And of course in Romania there is another problem which is rare in the westwards in Europe, which is overgrazing. We have a lot of grasslands which are very low level, and they don't have enough food for roller because they are overgrazed, highly overgrazed, with a lot of sheep. And thank you for your attention.